Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your June 2025 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh, and it's a pleasure to see everybody. This reading, as always, can be used for sun, rising, and moon. Let's get into channeled messages. I had a very strong dream image that came through, and then I meditated on it this morning before starting this reading. I saw a hornet flying around, and even when it's a dream, and even when it's a lucid dream, and you're welcoming in a totem, that's still something that basically makes you take pause, because you don't want to agitate a hornet in particular, or a wasp for any, because it's part of the wasp family. They have the ability to sting multiple times. It's not something that you want to really mess with. But it is a powerful symbol. And because I'm kind of highlighting bees versus wasps or hornets, one big distinction between the two is bees pretty much gather. They go out there, they get honey and nectar and things like that. It's all plant-based. But wasps are omnivores. They hunt smaller insects. And they represent the ability to go after something and get it. They are protection symbols as well, because that stinger can be reused. And they're pretty smart. They can move quickly, and I like a lot of the qualities that they bring forth. So highlighting all of those and kind of helping you out with the month ahead. Picking a focal point is going to be the number one key to success. What is the one thing with the remainder of this month that you want to positively influence or impact? Let most of your attention go there. There is a teamwork component there, just like a beehive. That colony of wasps also has sort of like this structure where everyone stays in their swim lane. So delegate, focus, and then really protect the things that matter most to you. That protection energy comes through as well. Now, the cautionary notes. You don't want to agitate a wasp. There could also be someone in your midst that is not worth the time or the energy that it takes to have an argument or discussion. They may be someone that just likes to go in and like get a sting, get a zinger, and it's not worth it. I would associate that kind of energy with the shadow part of the totem, which would be like 5 of Swords, 7 of Swords, and the Devil. The positive side, it kind of reminds me very much of like an Ace of Swords. That stinger is being able to go after something and get it. Hunting energy, target practice. I mean, if I were to like recast this whole symbol, it would very much be an archer with their bow and arrow. You don't want to distract them when they're hunting. And if you're the hunter yourself, you want to really go after that one thing and put all of your attention there. Let's take a look at the cards and see where there are opportunities for teamwork or delegation. Let's see what you should be focusing on. Let's try to avoid the hornets in your midst that might be not worth your time and energy. And with that being said, let's give the cards a shuffle. All right, for this reading, we're going to be using a new deck. I featured it in a recent flip through. I'll make sure I put a link to that video in the comments or in the description below. This is a different deck where there's almost 100 different cards. So we're going to get possibly some unique interpretations as well. All right, close your eyes. Create a circle of light around your body and your mind's eye. Welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. And let's see what's coming through for Virgo. All right, we have a card that nicely connects with the sort of duality and symbolism of the wasp, both the shadow side and the light side coming through here. And what might be coming through this month are some fears, some anxieties, some tests. You are more than ready and more than able to meet them head on. And we have this conscious connection message at the bottom. And one of the things that might be happening is a re-evaluation of the people whom you spend time with, the activities that you're putting your energy into, and really just making sure that it all connects and makes sense. You have the power to disconnect. You have the power to initiate a connection. Be mindful of that expenditure and make good choices. And if you see challenges come up in certain relationships, oftentimes they're a mirror of what we need to focus on. So the spiritual approach here is to thank Spirit for the reflection, do the inner work, and then dismiss the teacher because you no longer need the lesson. Or C, if that person reacts to the change within and the shadow energy goes and it's just light. Okay, Virgo, this is a really exciting month for you because practically every card on this table is in an upright position. They're all favorable. The only challenge is in the environment. We'll get to that when we get to it. But everything here in the center is what I want to focus on. An idea, the ability to manifest, the ability to do that faster than you think, and just a little bit of a call to action to take ownership over it. So let's go to this centermost card. One of the most unique illustrations for the Three of Wands that I've seen. What I like is the commonality in the original illustration. If we just take the bottom portion off, you see someone standing at the top of a hill, or stairs in this case, and the ship's coming forth. So if there's something that you've been waiting to happen, it's usually an imminent or now energy that I get from Three of Wands. At the very least, within the next 1, 2, or 3 months, soon. Now, there's a very unique portion on this card, which is the 3 fates. And so we have within this birthing or creating, then we have the ability to see something through. And then the most difficult is the 3rd fate, which has the scissors, and she decides when enough is enough. I mentioned this month, particularly with the catalyst, the conscious connections. Intrinsic in this card is also knowing when to disconnect. So that 3rd fate, she's deciding to cut cords, cut connections, and stop one thing so that the process, the energy, the focus can be on what matters most. That's where the centaur comes forth. You can't constantly be putting all of your time and energy in different directions. Something has to be cut out, something has to give. Once you decide and are discerning on where to say no and where to have the boundaries, that's when you're going to be more able to manifest more quickly. You may need to meet something halfway. That's why the ships are in the distance. You've taken all the necessary steps to basically accomplish this. And in general, we could just read the fates together as now is the time. Now is the time for karma to come forth, for what it is that you came to the planet to be center stage. And if you're not focusing on it, you may be thrust into it one way, shape, or another. So we want to avoid down the line, maybe later this year, like a tower event, by simply saying, wait a second, this is distracting me from my main goal. Let's do it. Now is the time. The window is open, okay? Favorable energy at the center. Whatever you decide to focus on is good, but you may also need to decide to say goodbye to something else. Okay, touching all of these cards is the Ace of Wands. This is like a light bulb moment. Aha, this is what I should be doing. We have a magnet right at the bottom of this. When you do something that you're drawn to, the energy pulls you forward faster. It almost gives you the wind in the sails and those ships. So really make sure that your energy is being put into things that matter to you. We can also see that this is a torch, and think of one of those Olympic runners that carries the light that eventually lights the final big Olympic torch. It's a series of relay races that get you there. So there's going to be sprints, starts and stops, and there may be momentary pauses between them, but you want to bridge those gaps and keep the momentum going so you can get to that big star moment. That's what that final, when they kind of throw the torch in and it lights the whole thing up. You are headed there. It may take 1, 2, or 3 steps, 1, 2, or 3 months, but it's on the horizon. So keep the torch lit, keep your energy focused, and you'll get there. Let's move on to the deep past. This is a very cool Page of Swords because she's holding the sword in one hand, but in the other, she's holding a magnifying glass. This represents going a little bit deeper, looking at the fine print, asking a question that no one else will ask. So when it comes to important decisions, don't move with haste. Move with caution, with care, and with curiosity. Being able to communicate concerns and questions is integral to your success. She's also using that magnifying glass to strengthen the light of the sun, and you see a little smoke on the altar there beneath her. Once you've figured it out, you can focus your intention. So we have multiple symbols showing the focus, the centaur, but also her, and you're going to be able to make more with less. She's taking something that we have a cloudy day, so maybe not as bright as it normally is, but she's going to magnify what's there and make more of it. So resourceful energy, curiosity, and the ability to also dig deeper than others. These are the things that many of you have already done, and if you haven't, the universe is calling you to those sorts of that kind of action, because that's going to help you get further, faster. As we take a look at the recent past, we have the Magician energy. Since we're doing this as the month has begun, many of you are already in the throes of this, which is to focus, as we've been talking about, and to trust the process. The things that really empower the Magician are the ability to believe in yourself and the ability to really be discerning. Just because you can do a little bit of this, doesn't mean that you have to throw in the kitchen sink. Doing less but doing it better is often one of the hidden talents of the Magician. Any challenge that comes your way, you have what it takes to make it happen. Now is the time to really practice and continue to move this needle forward, the Ace of Wands. And I just feel like you have what it takes this month. The question is, do you believe in yourself? We'll go more into this as we expand the forecast, but so far this is just a card of empowerment and focus. This could be a potential challenge or distraction, depending on how you look at it. So we have the Three of Cups in the crowning position. They're making wine. Love it. But the Three of Cups can be a very busy social schedule. It can be a new love, interest, or friendship in your life, and you're putting a decent amount of your energy into that. And there may also just be a lot that you're focusing on emotionally. And so you don't want to go to extreme highs or lows. You don't want to overextend yourself. And that energy of discernment is a common theme here. Less is more. If there is a new love or friendship or even opportunity, give it time to blossom. This is the getting to know you phase. This is the honeymoon phase. And it isn't something that you want to fast forward through. We've got a lot of threes here with the Three of Wands at the center and now the Three of Cups. So it may take 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months for something to fully open up and unfold. But lo and behold, this is a very celebratory card. Many of you may have just gone through a graduation. Maybe there's some weddings. All of that happens seasonally right now, so it makes sense. But if you're open to something new, the universe is giving you an indication that now indeed is a perfect time to celebrate, to connect, and to begin anew. In the near future, we have the Emperor. It's kind of interesting that he's kind of facing the past here as we're looking at this. One thing he might also be reviewing is the steps that it took to get here. He might also be thinking about what to do next. There's a lot of strategy involved with this. The key message here is don't lose track or the connection to what you're most passionate about. The Emperor is a vote of confidence from Spirit that you can do this. You're the one, though, that has to make the decision. You're the one that needs to make the leap. And there may have been points in your life where there was a lot of support, a lot of direction. It feels like in this particular chapter, you're more the captain. You're more the one that's deciding, how do I want to get there? When do I want to get there? And in doing so, it's going to be all the sweeter because you will be able to accomplish what you're setting out to do. But sometimes leadership is a lonely path. Sometimes it's more convenient to have it all laid out because when you make good decisions, it's, the praise is all yours. But when you make a mistake, there's accountability. Here's the good thing. I actually don't think you're going to make a misstep. This was the curious card with the magnifying glass, looking at the fine details. This is someone that realizes it's time to cut the nonsense, move forward, and step into the passion, the power, the sort of thing that you've been waiting to do. So if anything, I'm just getting an imminence, like now is the moment. This isn't a month, what's left of this month, to procrastinate. It's a time to initiate. You don't have to do it alone. The crowning card was the Three of Cups. It's just a question of when. When and how, not if, okay? The card representing you this month is one of the bonus ones in this deck, and we have the Bull coming through. Of course, you may have a Taurus placement, and this is just validation if that's the case, but for everyone else, we can look at the characteristics of the Bull and pull some knowledge from that. First of all, it's very grounded, and this is a time to get clear and feel like you're supported and really get specific when it comes to like resources. Ground yourself in practical things. Now, a bull is sometimes stubborn. And I like the energy of surprise. We'll talk about that in a second. But the stubbornness is really valuable when you've decided what it is that you want to do. Because no one and no thing can come in the way when you have that sense of grounding energy and focus, and you feel the embodiment and the power that is also part of the Emperor card. So these two cards definitely connect well with one another. Sometimes you can be caught by surprise because of the sort of blinders that go into the focus. So try to be aware that there's a time and a place for stubbornness, but if you're open to new ways of thinking, you can avoid the energy of surprise that is coming through here with this bull, okay? And also, we want to avoid sort of putting your foot in your mouth or stepping into a situation and saying too much too soon or doing too much too soon. That's what we were talking about with this. Getting to know the person, getting to know the customs, getting to know the expectations. Maybe it's not exactly what you expected, but the bull is finding its way to be as graceful as possible, okay? If you do have a placement in Taurus, Taurus is a great energy because it's bold, it's brave, it's grounded, and again, once it sets its mind on something, it can really make it happen. In the environment, we have Six of Wands, which is success. So upright position, everything is exactly as you expect it to be. When reversed, there could be a couple twists and turns. Thankfully, we have the energy of curiosity, discernment, investigation helping you out. And we have the understanding that sometimes you have to cut through the red tape or just say no to something if it doesn't feel right. Cut the strings. So if somebody is trying to get something from you, but they want too much in return, you say thanks, but no thanks. Now, ultimately, success attracts success. So you have the energy within you. The reversal shows fear, doubt, uncertainty, or hesitation. So I mentioned the imminent energy that was a part of Three of Wands. The ships are coming in. If you wait too long, they're going to the next destination. So if a window of opportunity presents itself, say yes, please. Yes, thank you. If it feels right. If there's a minor change that needs to happen, ask a question, stand up for yourself, and make sure that you're getting what you need out of this equation. And the Magician reminds you that you're persuasive. You can make a good argument if you set your mind to it. Success is also a very subjective sort of thing. So if there's a person in your life, parent, teacher, friend, partner, that thinks you should do something because it's what they want, that's their projection. That's their path, their truth. You get to this month walk your own path, your own truth, and you don't want or need to step into something simply because it's expected of you. Allow yourself to go exactly where you're called and know that in doing so, it's going to feel better, you're going to be more impactful, and there's going to be less friction along the way. In hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have the Centaur, and this represents the teacher Chiron. And this is also, of course, for those of you that might have a Sagittarius placement. But this also aligns back to the Wasp energy at the beginning. I mentioned the Stinger can be like an Ace of Wands, an Ace of Swords, or the Archer itself. And so we've got it here. Really pay attention to where you're putting your time, your energy, and your focus, because it can make an impact. You can land that goal or that dream more quickly than you normally would by focusing. This is connected with education because Chiron was a teacher. And so this is a great time for you to either engage in teaching or learning. And it can be a traditional path like going to school, or it can be something that is self-taught. Knowledge expansion in general here. The other thing with Chiron is it's a card that represents healing a deep wound, something from the past. And when you heal that wound, you will no longer call in a teacher. And when we look at the deep past here, the Page of Swords is representing being seen and heard. So in this period of time, if there's something that needs to be communicated, speak up, ask the question, put it out there. It's worth it. This is karmically what you've been focusing on doing. And if there's a wrong that needs to be corrected, brought to justice, this is also the time to fight for that as well. That will help you heal the wound. And in doing so, you can dismiss a difficult teacher that may be in your life. We also have, what I love about this deck is it clearly calls out different star signs. So there may be a Taurus right around you, and there could be a Sagittarius that's going to help connect you to the next thing. So I feel like you have support, as evidenced with the Three of Cups. It's just a matter of perhaps reaching out to that. Finally, we have a very powerful card in your outcome. The Hierophant, also a teacher, also a leader, is coming through. It's very structured. So one of the things that could bring you success this month, and maybe a necessary piece to the puzzle, is getting organized. It's never fun. It's much easier just to wing it. But when you have order, there's less chaos, there's more confidence. The grounding energy that we saw with the bull is going to come much more naturally. This is a perfect month to put it into writing. It's a great time for learning and for teaching, and it's a great time to step into a position of authority if you're ready and if you're willing. This is a spiritual card, and for many of you, you may be deciding to go a little bit deeper into your own path of spirituality, and absolutely, this is supportive of that. The only thing that can sometimes be frustrating is it can be a gatekeeper in your life. With it in the upright position, it's kind of magnanimous or positive, so I would say work with whatever that gatekeeper might be and know that you have a very good chance of getting an approval. To that end, if you want to make a change, as evidenced by that magnifying glass, work your magic here with the magician and stand your ground where appropriate. In doing this, you have a very good chance of accomplishing your goals and again, bringing something to the finish line. What we're going to do now is go a little bit deeper into the expanded forecast and look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Let me shuffle the cards and then I'll break it down. Health. Wealth. Love. And destiny. Let's take a look at health, which is mind, body, and spirit. We have the moon coming forth in the reverse position, and so something may be coming to the surface, something that you weren't aware of before. The flip side of this is if you're starting to notice an ache, a pain, or something like that, don't let fear come in the way of you getting the information that you need. Speak to a doctor, do your research. Due diligence is rewarded when we have the combination of that Page of Swords and the moon here. This can also represent a need for balancing out the emotional part of your life, making sure that you're getting enough time with your friends and family, that you're having enough fun. Yes, fun is an important piece of the equation. Seeking out that balance and really taking care of yourself. This can also indicate either too much or not enough hydration, particularly with the Three of Cups that I just showed. So paying attention to that as well. Finally, there's another nuance with the moon card, which is for those of you that may be trying to conceive, there could be too much going on. Stress can get in the way of that. There could also just be a need for some of you to pay closer attention to both reproductive organs and also like anything related to the bladder. Okay, now let's take a look at everything else here and see if there's any general messages around health. The conscious connections that we saw in the catalyst is really, again, having you take a closer look at your expenditure of time and energy in relationships and just make sure you're getting what you're giving. The other thing here, as we're looking at all of the cards, is an importance here to focus on moderation with the Three of Cups. I like that whatever you decide to put your attention into, we see you being able to move forward when we look at all of these center cards. And I think just moving away from rigidity, being stubborn and thinking something has to be a certain way, it could be really advantageous. Be open to try new things. And in doing so, I feel like you could achieve a good level of success and stability this month. Let's move on to the next category. We have trust coming through when we look at wealth. It says, I accept my inner voice will always guide me correctly. And that is the magician energy that we had coming forth. The reversal of this, whether it's magician or high priestess, is not listening to your instincts. And when it comes to business, when it comes to money or just personal development, you absolutely must trust your instincts. Let's break this down into a few categories. We're going to look at those of you that are already employed. So the trust thing is essential. If you don't trust in something in front of you, get another point of view. Look a little bit closer. Ask the questions that you need to. Moving aside from trust issues, here's what I see. So the Hierophant can represent something that's very highly structured, working in a governmental organization, in a school, in a hospital, anything where there's a clear line of all the different levels, all the different steps that you have to take. Once you know the steps, you can start to take them, and you may be further along in that journey than you give yourself credit for. If you're at a place where there's a glass ceiling and they won't let you get to the next level, even though you've done the work, you may decide to cut the cords like we see in the fate here. Overall, for those of you that are fine, you're like, Nicholas, I'm going to learn to trust my instincts and I know where I want to go, you have a great chance of accomplishing your goals. Focus, work hard, take ownership, and lean into what you're most passionate about. The bull and the centaur will help you go the distance, being stubborn when it's important to be stubborn, being open when you need to, and focusing, not getting distracted, focusing on what matters. The only thing that I get for some of you is a glass ceiling or a very rigid way of doing something. And if you don't do it their way, they're like, you're welcome to look somewhere else. So know what the limits are and decide if you want to fight or if you want to stay. Success is there, it's knocking, but there's a string attached. And I think it is something to do with like, it has to look this way, shape, or form. And if you're a little bit, outspoken or you want your own thing, then it might be time to look in a new direction. Which brings us nicely and cohesively to entrepreneurs. It's a pretty good month if you're an entrepreneur. We see success here, but people have a very specific way that they want to receive something. Make sure that if you're making changes to a product or an experience that you're listening, you've asked the right questions, and you're not changing too much. Iterative changes are key. In fact, when we look at that center card, there are a lot of little steps to get you here. It's better to take one step at a time, make one change at a time, rather than to mix it all up and then you find out like you don't know what's working and not working because everyone's reacting so harshly to the change. Smaller changes are the key to success. One final note here, going back to this birthing and releasing card, this is a great time to launch something new. We have people receiving it in a very positive light and the ability for success to follow. I think just advance notice is key. So when it comes to changing something existing, small steps are important. When it comes to launching a new product, giving people ample time to prepare and making sure that it gets enough publicity and enough marketing, all of these things are really going to help you land on solid ground, which was also part of the message here. We want to make sure that it's grounded in clarity and people are ready to receive whatever it is that you want to give. Let's move on. Job seekers. Can you find a job right now? Yes, but what we see here is a need to stand out from the crowd. The Six of Wands is what's around you, so there's competition. What people are looking for is very clear experience, but not just the experience, the application of the experience. As someone who used to be a hiring manager, one thing that I really cared about was how have you dealt with sort of challenging situations in the past? How do you take your skills and apply them in a way that sets you apart? If you've done any sort of training or have special skills, definitely bubble those up to the top so that people can see that and appreciate it. This is a time where you may decide to start your own company because this is entrepreneurial. If you're going to go into a larger group, like a more sort of structured organization, word of mouth is everything. So when you're looking at like your LinkedIn profile or maybe your website, get some testimonials or some references or endorsements. All of those things are going to also set you aside or set you apart. Now, there's going to be some steps. You may be able to land an initial interview, but wherever you're going, it feels like there's multiple people that are making the decision. And we got the number 3 2 times in a row. So you may have 3 interviews that you have to go through before you get that final approval. There is a level of traveling here. You may have to travel for the interview, or there may be a long distance component to it. The thing that is helping you and possibly hindering you the most could be age or experience. So leverage that to your benefit. But yes, you can find something. I just see some levels that you're going to have to go through, up to 3 different interviews. And any way that you can stand out from the competition, now is the time to really make sure that you're doing that. Students, it's a great month here for students. This is connected with education. This is being able to focus on what matters. And as we're looking here at the environment, successful connections. These are the things that are going to matter years down the line. Make sure that you're taking time to get involved in student organizations, that you're taking on internships, that you're really getting to know your professors and classmates. One day when you're the job seeker, all of these things are going to perfectly come together to help you stand out, like I was saying. It's often who you know, not just what you know. It's who you know and what you do with your knowledge that kind of like make you successful ultimately. Let me see if there's any areas of opportunity here. Just standing your ground when important, but also realizing that sometimes you have to just do what the teacher asks. It's not always fun, but when you get into life, you can decide what to embrace and what to discard. Often there's a teacher that's like, you have to do it this way, in this format, at this time, and that's that because I've earned the chance to say this. It's arbitrary sometimes. There will be these same things in life. Sometimes you have to file paperwork at a certain time, like taxes. Sometimes you have to show up during certain hours because that's when people work. There are just going to be certain parameters that may not be worth fighting. Pick your battles wisely. That's the only thing that I see taking you off path. You may be looking at studying abroad, which is great. Overall, I just see a lot of creativity and a lot of success when it comes to being able to accomplish what you want. For the retirees out there, I want you to lean into this. Trust your instincts, know that you're headed in a good path, and the centaur energy is coming through loud and clear. Here's what's powerful about that. I think some of you may be getting involved. You could be volunteering in an organization or some sort of an effort that really kind of connects you with a larger group. If you go to school or learn something new, it opens doors so that you can do more things and meet new people. One thing that I'm doing right now is learning a couple of languages. One that I already studied a long time ago, but I want to bring my skills back to fluency. Another one that maybe 10 years ago I took on, but then got busy. So I'm bringing both of them up so that I have greater depth of ability in it. And that will open up career opportunities, social opportunities, and travel opportunities. And the tool in and of itself is fun because of its potential, but it's the people after that tool that, for me, that's the draw. And that's what I see for some of you is learning something or getting involved in something. And then the payoff is, but wait, I'm also meeting new people and this is a lot of fun. So knowledge expansion is a big thing that comes through. For the rest of you, some potential travel. Also just doing something on your own. This is an independent card. This is someone in their garage, in their studio, in the home, doing something that just makes them happy. So some of you are social butterflies and are learning something that will connect you with others. Some of you are now just saying, I've worked hard for this moment. I just want to do my own thing. Either way, there's no wrong approach here, but please do something that connects with your passion. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. Speaking of that, we have the word passion on this. So for each of us, it's going to be different. It could be a creative passion. It could be a relationship. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. The passion connects you to the people that you're seeking out. And that's such a nice connection to what I just talked about. Let's break this down into 3 subcategories. If you're already in a relationship, we see success. I feel like it's headed in the right direction. Here's the thing. 2 very different types of people. Stubbornness because of the bull, someone that works really hard and is really focused here. Sometimes you're looking in different directions as we see as evidenced by this. What do I like about existing relationships? This is passion. You want to see the Ace of Wands in a relationship spread. This is chemistry. You can't fake it. So what I think many of you have is that core connection. Now, if you're looking at something long-term and this is lacking, you have to trust that the passion is necessary. If you have the passion, you can accomplish anything and get past anything. If you don't, it's really just more of a platonic thing. So if you're looking to go to the next level, make sure the passion is there. If you're already in a relationship, continue to fan the flames of that passion. No matter which direction you're in, here's some other things that I'm seeing in relationships. There's going to be interactions with others. So if it's getting more serious, you might be meeting the siblings, the in-laws, etc. It could go very well, but there might also be some stubborn or traditional ways. If you can find a way to sort of move through that, pick and choose battles wisely, I think you'll be fine, okay? It's a pretty good month for those that are partnered up. If you're looking for love this month, we already have 2 types here that could be coming through, a Taurus and a Sagittarius. In addition to that, just a lot of fiery energy here at the center with the 3 of Wands and the Ace of Wands. And you might have a couple of partnership opportunities even beyond this because we have the 3 of Cups. The chemistry's there. I think the important thing is, are you aligned? Do you have the same sort of vision for the future? That's probably what's going to separate or help you discern between the 2. It's a great month to meet people. The Emperor could represent someone that has a family, like a mother or father that has a child. This could be someone that's a little bit older or more experienced than you. But if the passion is there, I think you can bridge that sort of gap and find a way to make it work. If you're single and happy, good for you. Single and happy, you can focus on learning. You can focus on traveling. You can bring a project goal or experience to the finish line. I think you're going to meet success, but it could happen in a way that you didn't expect. So be open to something sooner or wrapped a little bit more differently than you might have imagined. Let's move on to destiny. This is possibly like one of the longest oracle cards that I've seen. I'm going to read through it and then I'll summarize it. It says, Humpback Whale, Singer. So we're looking at the voice, the throat chakra. Sing healing songs for the world. Focus on the positive. Do what you can to help others. Your inner navigation always guides you. In one word, trust your instincts. We got that here, and that could present a problem for some of you because you're not trusting yourself. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goal. I agree. We want to stay focused. That's a better way to say it, but also just the understanding that you have the power to make it work. And then finally, align with your purpose and the power in your soul. Your purpose is your passion, and your passion creates that energy of movement. So it's a summary of what we talked about with one additional piece, which is to use your voice, because the main title was Singer. Come up for air, breathe, and make sure that you're singing and expressing yourself. Okay, we have two additional cards that we're going to look at. One is what you need to know. I get out of the way, you get out of the way, the universe comes through and shows you what you need to know. So here we go. What do you need to know? Seven of Cups. Okay. So make time to dream and explore options. Don't, however, get so lost in that exploration that you lose focus. Sometimes we can put too many options in front of ourselves. So make time to dream, but also set a goal or limit for yourself when to take the next step and stay accountable with that. This is also a card where there might be a lack of clear vision or clear understanding, in which case the page comes back and says, hey, I have a question, I have an idea, let's talk more about this. All right, using your voice once more. Now, turn your attention to a final card. This can be anything that you still need some clarity on. Go ahead and ask your final question, and let's see what the guides have to say. All right, we have only our second reversal today. The main message I get with this is don't overthink it. You have so much clarity that came through at the center here, particularly with the Three of Wands and the Ace of Wands. I think that the only thing that might get in the way is distraction or confusion from others. And so this is about saying it doesn't always have to be complicated. It might be easier than you think. It might happen faster than you think. So trust your instincts and move forward with what feels right. You can also just explore what else is out there. If you're lacking inspiration or clarity, it's a great time right now for research. As a yes or no, basically yes, as long as it feels right, trust yourself. If it doesn't, take a moment, get clear, but know that you're the one that has to make the call, going way back to the beginning of this reading, okay? Overall, this is a very favorable month for you. We have the power of 3 coming through, which also shows a little bit of a time marker. 3 weeks, 3 months, something coming through faster than you think. That's everything for this month, Virgo. If you enjoyed this reading, please do me a favor, hit like and subscribe, and also leave a comment below. I read every comment. It helps with also discovery. Other people can find the video basically because YouTube says it's worth watching. So thanks for helping me with that. You can also join me if you'd like to on other social media platforms. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all of those that we are listed here below. You can go onto my website for more information. If you'd like to give back a little bit in the way of a super sticker, super chat, or becoming a member, thank you in advance. That also allows me to do more videos just like this. And that's pretty much everything for today. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I want to also just say for the next round of videos, we're going to do 2 months together. So I'll be getting us caught up by doing that, and there'll be a slightly different format. So looking forward to trying that out. Let me bring Apollo to the main camera and we'll wrap up. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Wishing you all the best. Remember that I do weekly videos each and every Sunday. And in addition to these monthly videos, I also do daily ones and lunar ones. All of those are available on my main channel page. Take care, and I'll see you soon.